Hello, and welcome to the EQUUS Film and Arts Fest podcast, the only program for horse lovers who have a fondness for horses in film, art, and literature. Each week, we will have interesting conversations with equestrian filmmakers, artists, and authors from around the world, discussing the nature and challenges as well as the triumphs of creating their work. Ready to talk horses and film and the arts? Here's your host, Julianne Neal, along with Lisa Dearson, festival founder and director.
Hi, this is Julianne. I'm so pleased to have the chance to share some of this year's content from the EQUUS Film and Arts Fest on the podcast episodes coming up over the next few weeks. Although we made a move to virtual in 2020, we still had amazing participation from our filmmakers, authors, and artists. So over our next few podcast episodes, you'll hear from our WebChats hosted by Diana De Rosa, Lisa Mae De Masi, Carly Cade, Milt Toby, and myself. You'll hear WebChats, panels, and more. Stay tuned, and we hope that you enjoy.
Hi, I'm Diana De Rosa, and I am speaking with Paul Randall, and he is living now in Italy. So cool. I've been there many times. I love the place, but it's really nice to speak to somebody so far away. Paul is the trainer and producer of the educational film Catching Meadow. So Paul, what made you decide to create this film?
It's hard for people to understand for the brain of a horse being taught to come when cold and being easy to catch are two completely different things.
I totally agree with that. And I would like to see if you could clarify, why do you think that is? I mean, we obviously saw the horse running around like crazy and then suddenly he came right to you. So do you think it has something to do with the herd instinct? What do you think that is?
I don't. It's over 40 years that I've been observing this, and I can't explain it. But after all these years, I do accept it, and it is hard for people to understand. So I made this film to try to show to people, because I talk about things and people find it hard to believe, and even to see the film, I think it's hard to believe.
As a horse person, I can totally relate to that. But I would like to find out when it was that you first realized that it was time to change your approach. And what did you do to make that happen? Make it happen that he came to you?
No, well, the thing is that this all started when I was in my 20s, and I was very keen on a girl that had very high opinion of her knowledge of horses. And I wanted to persuade her that in some way I knew more about horses than she did. But it was a chronic overkill, because it comes out that from the point of training horses to become when cold, I now know more than anybody in the world, it seems. And it's like anything that when one sort of follows a path, you learn new things because you're on that path, and other people aren't on that path, so they don't learn these things. So now I think it's just become essential that I should try and spread the word in the whole world.
No, I agree with you. I loved watching that film, and I actually do understand the concept of having the horse come to you, but you made it so clear. So I want to thank you for that. So if people want to know a little bit more about your training techniques, etc., what do they do? And do you have any last comments you'd like to say before we sign off?
Well, now we're actually almost finished training videos that are going to be available in the whole world. But I think it's something that particularly for experienced horse people, to realize that there is a sort of a whole segment of horse control that they know nothing about. And I think it's going to be almost embarrassing for them, because there's this sort of slice of the possibilities of training horses very easily that they know nothing at all about.
And all the times they've run around in a field trying to catch their horse, and there is such a simplified method as you show in your video. So Paul, I want to thank you very much. I love the idea that we're able to speak to each other from 2 different countries. So thank you so much for joining me this morning.
You're very welcome. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
This episode of the EQUUS Film and Arts Fest podcast is sponsored in part by Nature's View, the Marley Project, and JA Media Productions. To learn more about what we do, visit naturesview.us.
Hi, this is Lisa Mae De Masi with another EQUUS Film Festival web chat, here with accomplished equestrian artist Cindy Galloway. Welcome, Cindy.
Oh, thank you so much. This is just such an honor, and it's so much fun to talk to you, Lisa.
Cindy, you consider all living things to have the same importance as humans. How does this mantra frame how you see your canvas, especially in terms of anthropomorphizing foxes and hounds as seen in your works Lady Kitty's Hunt debut, Early to Meet, and Late to Meet?
Oh boy, this is fun. So I've always said I have a Dr. Seuss brain. I'm a thinker of the Dr. Seuss variety, and there aren't any rules in my mind. There's no box whatsoever. So I love animals. It's just been something since I was a child that's all I focus on. And I don't know, it naturally melded together, the characters, and I don't want to do things like everyone else does. So foxes and hounds, when you look at these animals, oh my gosh, they have so much personality, especially horses. So I'm hoping this makes sense, but I just naturally gravitated towards melding the two, characters together with human scenes. And it's worked out well. It's been fun. I have, I don't know if you can see back here.
Oh,
but
we could see it very clearly.
Yeah, that's, you know what, I'll let this go.
No, you could go, you
Okay.
could tell us about them.
So right here this is a Christmas card, and you can buy these on my website, but this is my beloved Harrington Hound, and this is Lady Kitty on the horse, and obviously this is a winter scene, but he's presenting her for a gift. It's a love affair made in heaven. It's timely, the subject, because it's 2 very different animals, and Lady Kitty's mother does not want them together. So there's a whole book to be written, and they're bucking the system and doing everything outside of what the norms are. So you'll be able to read about their love story as as it all progresses and the artwork does.
That's wonderful. Your creativity spans crafting fine oil originals, sketching delicate color pencil portraits, and painting eclectic equestrian subjects such as the belt buckles, trays, and lazy Susans. Your festival entry is Decanter, which depicts a hound awarding a fox who's mounted on a horse a cup and blue ribbon. Can you tell us a little bit more about that project?
Well, it started out, I was thinking I was going to paint a tray to sell for Christmas. It was 2 or 3 years ago. And I was talking to my sister. I'm like, I need to think of a word where I can bring a subject in, to go with it. And I was talking about the different horse gaits, and she said, canter. And I went, oh, decanter, wine.
Oh my God.
So that's how this originally started. I don't have, there should be an original of this up on the EQUUS Film Festival website. And then it shows Harrington Hound, the love story again, holding a large decanter of wine, and he's presenting Lady Kitty at a stirrup cup with a goblet. So that's how it started. And Harrington Hound is quite an accomplished, he's a clothing connoisseur, and Lady Kitty comes from a very wealthy family in England, and so they meet and they're forbidden, but their love draws them together. And it's all the drawings, and I'm coming up with more and more, and I have not exposed them yet, but they're all about gorgeous clothing and these romantic scenes and everything very Jane Austen. That's a good way to put it, because I'm such a fan of Jane Austen. So I'm trying to,
I see.
I'm bringing all those things into it, all the elegance.
Yeah, and who is your audience? Like, is there a whole span of ages that are attracted to your work, or?
Oh, God, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the book that I'm going to write, I think I'm going to gauge it more towards preteen to teenagers, and finding their own way in life, doing things outside of the box. And I think it's timely with how more, I don't know how to put this, more of the interracial relationships happening and how that's normal now. And this kind of follows the same thing. And when I started this, I didn't think about that, but now more and more I'm thinking, wow, this can really, exacerbate the story into something timely and relevant. So it's where we are.
Can you tell us who the folks out there can locate your work and learn a little bit more about you?
Sure. My website is www.cindygalloway.com. I'm also on Instagram under Cindy Galloway Artist. I did close my Facebook account, but please come to my website and sign up for a subscription. Can I show a few pieces of work that would make phenomenal Christmas presents? So obviously I gravitate towards horses, and I've got 2 horses at home, a yellow horse and Quattro, and I bring them into my goodies occasionally. But here is one belt buckle, and this is called the Flying Pearl. And they come on these gorgeous, supple, thick, yummy, soft leather belts, and you can pick your size, and you can pick your color. Here's another one for the dressage.
Cindy, when you paint those, do you have the buckle up on an easel, or are you looking straight down on it?
I'm looking straight down on it, and I'll show you. So they're just 3.5 inches by 2 inches. I am a detail painter, and for me, this is easy to do as long as my glasses are okay. But I love painting. I think you can see the detail in it. I love to paint detail. So for me, piece of cake. Here's another one. This is Lady Kitty. This is her hunt debut. She is truly a hound estrian. She started hunting. She was cubbing on a hound, which I'm sure that Harrington Hound wouldn't really appreciate, but he knows it goes on. So this, again, they're doing things outside of the norm, but she's darling. I love this belt buckle. And then they have my fabulous logo on the back.
Aww.
And then again, the belts, and there's different colors. And then again, my fabulous Harrington Hound. But, he's beautiful, but I love these guys, and I'm going to come up with more and more. And I hand paint these. If you have a portrait of your horse or a dog or a bird or a pig, whatever, I will gladly custom make one of these for you. And they
have so much personality.
I love them. Oh, and then I have my Christmas cards, and I've got different versions of, again, Harrington Hound, the love story, and also Lady Kitty and her father on her hunt debut. So, and I hand make these cards. They're all on fabulous thick stock, and they've got glitters, and I've got a billion different patterns, but area to write, and then on the back.
Very special.
Yeah, they are special. So some nice Christmas plaid. So, but those are all on my website. So check them out.
Lots of stuff. Lots of good stuff.
There is. And then my, obviously doing portraiture. I love colored pencil portraits. They're fabulous. So there's quite a few of those on my website for examples, but I love it all. I'm just cruising along and having a good time with this.
Well, thanks for chatting with us today. It was great to learn about you and your work.
Thanks so much, Lisa. This has been a good time.
Thanks, Cindy.
All right. Take care.
Hi, I'm Julianne Neal with the EQUUS Film and Arts Fest, and I'm so excited to be speaking with one of our new EQUUS authors today, Melanie Bowles, or I'll make your mom happy and say Melanie Sue Bowles. Welcome, Melanie. We're so glad to have you with us today.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here.
Well, we're going to be speaking about two of your projects. They're both softcover books, The Horses of Proud Spirit and Hoof Prints, Horses, Stories from Proud Spirit. And you're actually on location at Proud Spirit Sanctuary right now, correct?
I am, yes.
Great. Well, can you tell us a little bit about the two projects and about the sanctuary? It sounds wonderful.
Well, we began the sanctuary back, 30 years ago. And we started on 5 acres of land with one horse in need. And over the last 30 years, it's evolved into buying additional land and then moving again and buying more land. And we're now on almost 200 acres.
Wow.
And over the last 30 years, we've intervened on behalf of hundreds and hundreds of horses in need. And my books they just tell the story of how the sanctuary began and some of the stories of the horses that have come to us. And some of them are a little bit moving and emotional, and others are funny. And so it's a book of, I think it hits every emotion. And after the first book came out, a producer for PBS read the book and wanted to come out and film a full-length documentary about the sanctuary.
Wonderful.
So that happened in 2004, and that aired nationally.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I wrote my second book, Hoof Prints, More Stories from Proud Spirit.
Well, from Jesse and Riley to Indigo, they all sound like amazing animals. And from stories of all the foals in the barn to Indigo surprising you in the laundry room, I think it sounds amazing. So what's been the most rewarding part of the book project for you?
About the books, I think it's just meeting like-minded people who have a passion for horses and care about these majestic, noble creatures and that feel the same way about the life they deserve.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I know you probably have a ton more stories to tell. Is there another book in the works?
Yes, well, I've completed a third book that's called The Dogs of Proud Spirit.
Oh.
And it's because, you open a sanctuary for animals and it becomes kind of like a field of dreams. Build it and they will come. And so I decided to write a book about all the dogs who have found their way to us. And I'm just working on a fourth book.
Wow, that's amazing. So we figured there would be more to come. So I have to ask, and this is probably not fair, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Of all the horses that have made their way to the sanctuary, is there one special one that stands out for you?
I get asked that a lot, actually. And, it kind of has to go back to the first horse, really. Mm-hmm. It almost does. She was the one who opened my eyes to how glorious these animals are. And she was a horribly neglected, off-the-track thoroughbred. And she just taught me so much. I'll never forget her. Her name was Cody, and she was my special girl. And she just really was the inspiration for wanting to open the sanctuary.
Well, she made it into your heart and made it possible for all the rest. So we appreciate that. That's wonderful. Well, if folks wanted to find out more about the sanctuary, more about you and the books, where would they find you online?
We are on Facebook, Proud Spirit Horse Sanctuary, and our website is Horses of Proud Spirit. We do so much more on Facebook really than anything. So Horses of Proud Spirit, we post a lot about what's going on here, and you can find us there. And through the books, of course, they're available wherever books are sold.
And we'll have them on EQUUS Authors. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for telling us a little bit more about the stories. And I know people are going to love reading the books. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate it, Melanie.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we'll look forward to seeing you next year.
Okay, great.
Please be sure to tune in next week when Julianne and I have another interesting conversation with one of our EQUUS Film and Arts Fest filmmakers, artists, or authors.